Hello and welcome to the Super Basement Bro Show. My name is Connor and I'm joined by my co-hosts Tanner and Hasten.
Hi.
Hi.
This is our E3 2021 reactions episode to the Xbox and Bethesda conference, which we just finished watching alongside Square Enix, but we're going to talk about Xbox first. So overall, what did you guys think of the conference?
I thought it was awesome.
Good, quick notice for you guys. We actually just recorded our opening thoughts and we realized we were muted, so we have to do it again. So
It was really good in my opinion. I think Xbox has always, for the last couple of years, has been kind of hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
This was a really good year in my opinion. Like Hasten was saying.
I thought it was better than their conference last year or whatever all of the stuff they did last year.
Yeah.
It was better than all of that.
I
But
agree.
it still left me disappointed. I wanted to see Avowed. And then I wanted to see, what was the other one?
Fable,
Perfect
Perfect Dark.
There's a lot of stuff that they have.
There was a lot of weird
that
absences.
that they didn't show. But they did show, like, Stalker looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Sea of Thieves things, I'm a big pirate fan too, so as
Yeah.
much as I hate Sea of Thieves.
You're crazy.
Well, once again,
That
the
was
only
my
reason-
favorite announcement.
I think this might be different because the only reason you hate Sea of Thieves is because it's the boring part. So
Yeah,
if it's like a
the reason I
storyline-
hated Sea of Thieves is because there's just nothing to do.
Right, and so now it's
And
like a
if
story
they
mode.
if they have some stuff to do, then I might like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's a beautiful game and it's
crazy
know.
crossover.
Yeah. Let's we'll go through the show here in just a sec, but I'll just give my brief thoughts overall as well. I really liked the conference. I thought it was solid beginning to end. Like I was saying previously, I think that like you were saying, in other years it's hit or miss, but I feel like just overall this show had good energy, and I was never bored. I was never like
hype all the way through.
there was maybe like the Forza segment went on a little too long, some stuff like that, but otherwise I was never bored. I was in it the entire time, and I thought every announcement was just a solid announcement, especially with all the stuff coming to Game Pass. 12 minutes.
for sure.
Back for Blood, big surprise announcement coming to Game Pass. So
Outer Worlds 2.
Outer Worlds 2, yeah. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. But let's go ahead and start with the beginning, which this is something I don't know if you guys were expecting, but they opened with Starfield.
I did not expect them to open. For
Yeah,
sure.
Crazy,
no, not at
yeah.
all. And I thought it was super cool that Todd Howard himself opened up an Xbox conference.
It
Like, that's
was
such a
cool.
cool idea.
They're like, hey, who was the best presenter we have? Oh, it's Todd Howard.
Todd Howard.
Yeah, bring out Todd Howard right away. Let him introduce Starfield. So what did you guys think of Starfield and how it looked?
I'm super excited that we finally even know what it is. Honestly, we got it announced 3 years ago at this point, along with Elder Scrolls 6, and I was so surprised that they even announced that stuff because I was thinking, okay, we still have forever to see either of those. It's good to finally see stuff with Starfield because that just means we're closer to Elder Scrolls 6. Because the sooner Starfield comes out, the sooner Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. So we got what seems to be just like a CGI, really high quality trailer, which kind of revealed a little bit about some stuff.
Well, way more than we knew previously. Before it was
Like,
just a
it
logo.
looks like, I mean, it's kind of implying that there's going to be space travel because he's
That's
in
what
the
I was going to
spaceship.
say. It kind of reminded me of what's the other space
No Man's
travel?
Sky.
No Man's Sky. Like
It
I
does.
was watching it. I was like,
That's the same thing. I
like
thought.
if you could just take off and go to other planets, it's straight up No Man's
Yeah.
Sky, but Bethesda's making it.
If this turns
So-
out to be what No Man's Sky was supposed to be, then this will be huge because No Man's Sky was supposed to be this big thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like I thought the trailer was super sick. I mean, we didn't get any sort of gameplay or anything, but knowing Bethesda, it's gonna be great gameplay. And then we got a release date, which is 2022, November, which is
I think
really
that was
surprising.
the most surprising thing about it. I was not surprising, I should say, but disappointing in a way.
Disappointing, yeah. I guess we kind of expected it, but
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was still going to be a ways away more than likely, but I was really hoping for spring next year. I thought that was fairly likely. And I think for Elder Scrolls fans, it's really disappointing that it's fall next year because that means Elder Scrolls is at least after that 2023 at the earliest, but that's not going to happen.
No
I think
way,
it's going to
yeah.
be 2024 more than likely, or 2025.
yeah.
So I think that's the most disappointing thing about the Starfield release date specifically. But I liked the trailer. I think it's a cool premise. I think it's the best looking Bethesda game so far we've ever seen.
I mean, and I tend to love space games. So.
Tough with CG trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But,
can't get much.
but they're
from
using
them,
a whole new engine, so we'll see when they show some gameplay. But
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I love space games, so I'm excited for it, and it's Bethesda, so
Yeah,
Super
and I believe
nice.
it did open with saying it was all in-engine, though, right? So even
Right.
though it was not a gameplay trailer, it was all
not like
in-engine.
it's-
It wasn't
But they
just
can
like
still
CG.
like render it and change it.
Sure,
and,
sure, yeah.
So you never know. It's
Absolutely.
questionable, but I bet it's close. Similar.
Yeah.
I will say I am surprised that we didn't get more info on it. At least like a basic synopsis of what's going on.
So after the show, it sounds like Todd Howard or somebody gave a quote that they said it's basically Indiana Jones meets something else. What was it? I don't remember. Indiana Jones meets something, and then with gameplay elements of Skyrim. Is basically what it said.
If it's like Skyrim, I'm happy.
Which I think that's pretty good news for a lot of Bethesda fans, especially Skyrim fans.
All I need is it to be open world, and the world needs to be interesting. That's all I care about. If the story sucks, so what? It's not like Skyrim's story was that great. Like, it was okay. It wasn't
You're
the
there
main
for
reason.
You're
lore.
there for the wandering and the
Right.
exploration.
The exploration and being Dovahkiin and yeah. That's another game we didn't see. Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I figured that one was a ways away. When they announced that, they said they were...
That was
like,
barely even a trailer when
Yeah.
they announced it. They just like showed a hat.
And they even... I think they said, they were like, yeah, we just started development on this. We just wanted to get ahead of it.
Once
and
again,
announce it.
announcing a game.
Yeah, and
early.
that's one thing that I'm sure we'll talk about in this episode is just the idea of announcements maybe happening too soon. As we mentioned, there was a lot of mysterious absences from the show, like Fable, Avowed, Perfect Dark, a lot of Cuphead again. Oh my gosh, why'd you say that? I totally forgot Cuphead wasn't there.
Granted, though, we
Gosh
have to
dang.
give it credit. Cuphead is not an Xbox game
True.
studio, so
Yeah.
it might be a case of they wanted to show Cuphead, but maybe they have their own plans. Studio MDHR, so
Yeah. Yeah, and so there was some mysterious absences, I think, and I think that goes back to just this. It's hard to say if it's a problem or not, but the idea of games just being announced way too early. I get that studios don't want their games to be leaked or stuff like that. They want the surprise, and so they get out ahead of it and announce it so they can share that surprise with everyone. But there's just too many instances where these games are announced years in advance. Like Elder Scrolls 6 was announced, what? It's been 3 years now?
Yeah.
And
And
that
it's
game's
still
not,
3-4
and that's
years
at
away.
least for maybe longer years away, 3-4 years. And so that's a major bummer to have to wait 6+ years for a game that's been announced.
You even look at like Cuphead. Cuphead was announced 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Same year as Elder Scrolls 6, and it was supposed to be DLC. Like,
And
the fact
that's
we
just
still
DLC.
haven't gotten stuff like that.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, and I don't know. Like, the thing is like you look at games like Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy, which got announced at Square Enix's conference. They did a really good job at not announcing it too early, and it's coming out this year.
This year.
Crazy. October. We haven't heard about this game. It's coming out in 3-4 months.
Yeah. And
Insane.
yeah, we'll get to that one later for sure. But yeah,
That's a good example
an ideal.
of, like, a game can be announced late and still be profitable.
And it's
still
weird
be
too
hyped.
because Fallout's done it. Bethesda's done it with Fallout 4. Like it was summer,
They did it with
announced,
Skyrim.
and then fall.
Skyrim
Yeah, and
announced,
Skyrim
came
as
out that
well.
year,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't understand this need to announce years in advance. But besides the point, anyway, let's move on to some of the other announcements we got. Right after Starfield was Stalker.
We got Stalker,
Which-
and we were honestly thinking it was something else. It was
Yeah.
not what I was expecting. I
No.
thought we had seen it before, but
The game
I don't know.
looks amazing
Awesome.
in terms of graphics.
Oh, yeah.
Like it looked beautiful, except for slight nitpick here. This is just a personal thing, but I feel like there's an abundance of post-apocalyptic
absolutely
games.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
there's just too many. A lot of the games kind of start to blur together. I'm like, which game was this again? Because there's so
'Cause
many.
even us, the second we saw the poster for it, we were like, "Oh, it's that one game."
Yeah.
Which actually wasn't the game.
wasn't
we
the
thought, which I
same
don't
one.
even know what that one's called.
Uh-huh.
If it is, yeah. And so like that's why I'm blown away that like this game came out of nowhere. We talked about it a little bit. Maybe you said Stalker was an older game.
Yeah, it was like on the PC.
They
it was
really-
like old PC.
They really should have just rebranded the game.
Yeah.
Stalker.
Absolutely.
Stalker 1. Like God of War does it. Halo's doing it. You got to do that if your game, because
Especially
advertising something as a sequel, I think, can be really detrimental to your sales because
Yeah.
people aren't going to buy a sequel if they haven't played the first.
especially when you're picking up a franchise that's been dormant for a long time. It's like just rebrand it and or call it. I think it was called Stalker blah blah blah.
Into
like
the Darkness
Into the
or
Darkness.
something.
It's like just call it that. Get rid of the 2.
Heart of Chernobyl.
Heart of
Heart
Chernobyl.
of Chernobyl.
Yeah, get
rid of the 2.
Get rid of the 2. Just call it not God of War. I was thinking God of War Ragnarok as well as a similar situation, or God
They
of War.
don't call
they
it
got
2.
rid of the number and just called it God of
That
War.
way people
God of War
don't feel
Ragnarok,
like they're yeah.
Or presumably we don't know that yet, but yeah, just
Absolutely.
get rid of the number sometimes, especially when you get later in the series. It's unnecessary.
I agree.
What else? What did we get after?
After Stalker was Halo, and
well, it wasn't.
No.
There was.
It wasn't
more
Sea
in
of Thieves
between there.
before Halo?
Yeah, Halo wasn't until mid show.
are you sure?
For sure, absolutely. But either way, let's jump on to Sea of Thieves then.
Yeah, I mean, we had Sea of Thieves, which was insane announcement.
This was my get hype, most excited
yeah.
moment of the entire show. I can't believe freaking Pirates of the Caribbean is crossing over Sea of
I'm
Thieves.
sorry, but I'm blown away because literally last night I was sitting there playing Sea of Thieves and I'm like, oh, that's something that's going to get announced at E3. Because I noticed that it said there was one more week of the season. So I'm like, oh, they're going to announce the new season. It'll be small because knowing Sea of Thieves, it's a live service game, right? And all of a sudden, boom. I called this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna talk about Sea of Thieves. All of a sudden, boom, freaking Pirates of the Caribbean crossover.
Talk about a match made in heaven. Sea of Thieves meets Pirates of the Caribbean. It's funny because the trailer started and we were hearing like the Yo-Ho Pirates Life for Me type thing.
Didn't even.
And for some reason, I didn't even connect it. I was just like, oh yeah, this is a classic pirate song. Like I wasn't even thinking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
There was like hints to pirate stuff.
But then the moment that I was like, oh wow, they're completely homaging Pirates of the Caribbean is when there was this skeleton sitting on top of the gold. And I'm like, that's directly out of the ride. Like, what the heck?
And then there was like Tia Dalma.
And then there was like a girl just like Tia Dalma. I'm like, this is getting weird. And the next thing you know, they go down to the cell.
Jack
and
Sparrow.
there he is. I'm like, there's no way that's
the
Jack
classic
Sparrow.
dog
There's
scene.
no way that's Jack Sparrow. And then he turns
at first
around,
I was skeptical.
talks.
Like, I saw the dog thing and I was like, oh, and we even thought, oh, it's somebody. They're just referencing
it, yeah.
But then it's Jack Sparrow.
But then he turns
like,
and it's
Jack
straight
Sparrow.
up Jack
Like,
Sparrow.
what the F?
Which is so cool. Like, I am so excited to get back into Sea of Thieves now. Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a huge update with story,
which
missions,
apparently
new bad guys.
seems to be
all sorts
what
of
was
things.
supposed to be either Sea of Thieves sequel or a huge update, which it looks like it is. I mean, this is nuts. Like, this is big.
Yeah.
And Sea of Thieves is an older game. Like, it came out 2018.
Yeah, 2-3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not new. And stuff like this revitalizes games like Sea of Thieves, though.
Yep.
And Sea of Thieves it's gotten popularity now. It's been popular on Steam and Xbox.
It has
and
a
now
good
this,
fan base.
oh yeah, you better believe it's going to be one of Xbox's big IPs now.
Yeah, it's
always has been.
just such a great, cool idea. It makes me so excited to get back into Sea of Thieves because I'm somebody that loves Sea of Thieves but doesn't play it too often.
Right.
But every time I play it, I enjoy myself and I love the world. I love the music. The music's so good.
Right.
And the idea of it now crossing over with something that is important to my childhood and very nostalgic to me is just going to even amplify my love for like the Sea of Thieves world and stuff.
Well,
like
I want to mention that because I feel like this update in particular is for everyone. People like you and me and Hasten even, because like for me, the smaller updates that they've done in the past are for hardcore players like me. It's like the stuff that you won't really care about, like the really in-depth stuff.
Yeah.
But this is the stuff that anybody can jump into. A story, tall tale, right?
Yep.
You don't have to be any level. You can jump in and experience the Pirates of the Caribbean story.
with a franchise that a lot of people care about.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
And
Pirates of the Caribbean is
characters,
huge.
Jack Sparrow, like it was so out of left field too because it's like on paper it makes total sense. It's like Sea of Thieves was obviously inspired by a ton of the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. Like
absolutely.
I remember the first time we played it, like the song when you go up to the mermaid and stuff. It's like this sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean.
So similar,
like, and
right?
then when you die and you're on the ferry, the ferryman's
Ferry of the
stuff,
Damned. Even
it's
even some of the locations. There's like Shipwreck Bay.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like there was clear inspirations there. And so on paper it makes total sense, but honestly it's so out of left field because it's not like Pirates of the Caribbean is the same mega franchise that it used to be.
Yeah.
We haven't had a movie in 5 years. There's talks of the next one being a reboot. Like,
when's the last time Disney's partnered up with Xbox?
yeah, no, for real.
Connect
like,
Disneyland Adventures, like 7 years ago.
It's a
8
huge,
years ago?
it's a huge partnership for Xbox to pair up with Disney, especially for a crossover like this. I hope we see more of stuff like this in the future. Whether it's like some Marvel character coming to blah blah blah, or this character coming to that. I think stuff like that is such a great idea. And what I love about this is that it isn't just, hey, there's a Jack Sparrow skin.
Right. Or like, hey, he's now an NPC you can go talk to.
Yeah, it's like those would be cool. But it's like, no, this is a full on storyline Pirates of the Caribbean thing.
It's not just a crossover.
Davy
it is
Jones
like
is back.
partnership almost.
Yeah, and we were talking about it where it's funny that it's in a way almost a continuation of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie storyline. Where if you remember, spoilers in the fifth one at the end credits, like Davy Jones comes back, and then now we might never see a sixth movie with Davy Jones. And so it's like, this is a cool way to be able to bring him back with Jack Sparrow and maybe get to see a little more storyline with
And
that.
the fact that we're getting somebody like Davy Jones too, and that it's not just simply Jack Sparrow. Because you'd think, okay, Disney will maybe just allow you to do Jack Sparrow, and then he's in a Sea of Thieves story.
Yeah.
No, this is a Pirates of the Caribbean story in Sea of Thieves.
In Sea of Thieves, yeah.
With Jack Sparrow, with Gibbs, with Davy Jones,
and
music.
I loved hearing the Pirates of the Caribbean music. I loved hearing even Jack say some of his classic lines, like "Bring me that horizon," stuff like that. Like, just all around great reveal. Awesome. My best moment of E3 so far for me personally.
I agree. And if you have Game Pass, play it, because guess what? Sea of Thieves is on Game Pass, and this is a free update.
Yeah.
You don't have to purchase anything. You have Game Pass, you can play.
Which is insane. Like
Xbox, PC.
And this goes back to the thing we always talk about, where Xbox is just playing their own game. They're in their own world. Like, they are, while PlayStation is obviously their competitor, they are doing their own thing, where Xbox is much more focused on these live service games and building worlds around these games, like, for years.
Yeah.
Versus PlayStation is much more release a AAA, huge, super 10 out of 10 single player action-adventure story game that comes out, and then you don't have anything for years.
Yeah.
Or, like, 6 months.
Well, and I tell you what, like, Hasten
which I love,
it.
but it's a completely different ballgame.
Well, and Hasten mentioned it. They are building Game Pass to be irresistible.
Yeah.
If you own a Xbox
or PC,
or even a PC, if you don't have Game Pass, you are doing it wrong. You need to get Game Pass. On PC alone, there's hundreds of games.
Yeah.
Not even counting Xbox, where you have 200, 300 games. Okay. It's insane.
Xbox Game Pass is the new way to rent video games. It's the new way to go to Hollywood Video or Blockbuster, rent a game, try it out, see if you like it, and then buy it later if you really love it.
And literally, I have it up right now. They announced all these games for Game Pass.
I pulled
today,
that up as well. Yeah.
Where I can't even count. It's probably 50.
Yeah, it's a ton of games. In
30.
fact,
30 games.
27.
27
Game Pass
day
games.
one. That is insane. Like, every announcement you saw today is basically coming to Game Pass. The only ones that aren't is like the AAA, like Far Cry,
Battlefield 2040 something.
I don't even remember the last.
And the last one was the Diablo too.
Yeah,
Diablo. Yep.
So yeah, 3 games out of everything else. Everything else you saw day one.
Game Pass.
And like, we were even watching it with Parker, our brother, and he was like, "Wait, Halo?" Like, he was even surprised. He's like, "Halo? Like, that's a huge game. That's coming day one." It's like, well, yeah, it's an Xbox studio. It's
big game.
Yeah, and that is coming to Game
Well,
Pass.
I tell
day
you what,
one.
like,
you don't have to pay for that if you have Game Pass.
And I feel like I underestimate and unappreciate Game Pass so often, because I think, I actually do want to get a PS5 and I want to play it. But then I think, I want to play all those games, but I can't.
You'd have to pay.
Like, even a game like
investment.
Returnal, like Returnal that came to PlayStation 5. I want to play that, but I'm not going to spend $60 to play that game.
Well, 70.
70.
And that's the thing,
like,
too.
I'm not doing that.
Is like, I want to play, I would love to play Returnal. I want to play Ratchet and Clank. Those games look amazing. And rightfully so. They're getting great reviews. And that's one thing PlayStation does best, is they just make really great games. But, yeah, the truth is, if you want a PlayStation 5 and you want to play those games, it's an investment. You're talking $70 every 6 months at least, if you're wanting to play those games.
Like, a PlayStation 5 is not $500. A PlayStation 5 is $700.
Yeah, and then with Game Pass, it's like, you get access to this huge catalog of games. And
instantly.
I get that most of them are indie. I get most of them are that stuff. But it's like...
And they're older.
But it's like, honestly, you're getting EA Play on there now. Those are AAA games.
Jedi Fallen Order, which
Studios
just came out. Star Wars Squadrons just came out on EA Play.
Yeah, you're honestly getting...
every Xbox Game Studios game day one.
Day one. Yeah,
now Bethesda games, too.
Now Bethesda games as well, and they just announced a whole bunch more Bethesda games coming. So.
Also, one thing we skipped, Starfield's exclusive.
Yeah.
Starfield is exclusive, confirmed now.
That's a huge...
insane.
Huge reveal. Because, like, there was rumors of it, obviously. Like, it sounded like that was going to be the case. But to actually have it outright said...
Like,
and that happened
if you want to play Starfield, you can't play it on...
I think it's insane, because I think people don't realize how insane that is. Because since it's a new IP, they're thinking, oh, well. But, like, this is the equivalent of Fallout or Skyrim being... or Elder Scrolls being exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
And honestly, at this point, like, who knows what the situation will be with Elder Scrolls 6, but...
there's a chance.
I honestly think it'll be exclusive, too. Like, the only reason I can see them not doing that is because it's an established franchise and they don't want to, like, hurt
The player base
other
too much.
player base that has enjoyed it on PlayStation or other consoles. Like, but I honestly think this is setting a precedent now that they want these Bethesda games to be exclusive.
Truth is if Elder Scrolls 6 is not exclusive, I think it's timed. I think if
At
it's
least.
exclusive, it's timed.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see that.
because, like, the truth is, I think...
Or just gets extra, maybe, like, content.
Yeah. Because, like, even Skyrim got
Which I hope
DLC
not.
a
I
month
hate
early.
I hate when PlayStation does that
Timed
Yeah.
itself.
and
So I hope
stuff.
we don't, like, Xbox doesn't do that. to
We
them.
can't become the villain. The good guys.
Yeah, before the Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life, they announced Contraband.
Contraband. That's right.
Contraband, which we didn't see much, it's just a CGI trailer.
We literally know nothing about it except for I think it said co-op. It was like a co-op on the.
And there was like treasure and stuff, which makes me think Indiana Jones Uncharted kind of vibe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's like a Jeep.
Some stuff.
It was a CG trailer, so it's one of those. It was Avalanche Studios, right? Which is cool. They
Avalanche makes
made
Just
Mad Max
Cause.
and stuff like that. But ultimately, that's one of those trailers where it's like it's hard to get excited about it because it's a new IP and we have no idea what the frick it is.
Yep.
You know, so it's like okay, cool. We'll
That
see.
was also
We'll see it when we get
exclusive, though.
gameplay and stuff.
Also a day one exclusive.
Day one exclusive. Yep.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
They after Sea of Thieves, they had the Battlefield 2042 gameplay, which I thought was really good. And I love the time period too. Like they're doing the future, like they did with Black Ops 2.
Like the
the
close
pseudo future.
Yeah, where it's
kinda
not
thing.
too far, but it's close enough that it's still the
Exactly,
future.
and that's like that's like my favorite thing for some reason.
Especially for a game like Call of Duty-esque
Yeah.
shooter. Yeah.
Because then it's like reasonable future stuff that we can actually get.
Yeah, it's not everyone on jetpacks flying around.
Right.
So
It's not like the freaking cyberpunk. Everybody's got robot arms.
Yeah.
Then they did 12 minutes.
12 minutes, heck yeah.
I know I'm excited for to play on Game Pass with James
Super cool
McAvoy and Daisy Ridley, which is crazy.
And Willem Dafoe, yeah.
Super cool.
Awesome cast. That game we've known about for years, so I'm so happy to finally get
I remember when
it.
the first time we saw the trailer, me and you were both like,
That
I want to
looks
friggin'
sick.
play that thing.
Yeah.
That looks
Yeah.
awesome. And that comes out on August 19th.
So 2
this-
months.
Yeah, this
and
year.
Game Pass, which is so cool. Like
Game Pass day one.
I'm so pumped
All
for that
these
game.
games that we're like, oh, I want to try. You could try it for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't have to pay money.
Then they did Fallout 76 Steel Rain, which I didn't care about.
No.
Didn't care too much.
Then they did the
Yeah.
whole roadmap for Fallout 76 and stuff like that. Okay,
Care.
skip that one. And then
Sorry, Fallout
they
76.
announced Party Animals coming in
Heck
2022.
yes.
Which
Pumped
I
for
need
this.
to know. I wonder if it's made by the same people.
Yeah, it's weird because Double Fine makes.
It looks
Well, that's
identical.
Well, because like I know who made Gang Beast and who made Human Fall Flat are two different people.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this looks so close to Gang Beast. The headbutt.
It's insane.
Because at least Human Fall Flat's slightly different with like the stuff you can do. It's
Even the
similar.
wall climbing though, like when they were trying to climb up walls, that was Human Fall Flat.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
Yeah, that's
like-
true. Yeah.
Because if it's not made by them, it looks so close that it's gonna be sick. It's
Uh-huh.
literally Gang
It's
Beast
like
with weapons.
I hope I don't think it's made by either of them, but it honestly doesn't matter because it just looks like Gang Beast 2. It's like Gang Beast 2 with weapons.
Even this thing, it
which
says
is
Party
awesome.
Animals revealed looking like a Gang Beast clone that's sure to garner hype.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped for that.
And
That's
is
gonna be super
that
fun.
was exclusive as well, right? Day one. I
yeah,
think?
and Game Pass.
Yep. After that, they had Hades, which I guess is coming to Game Pass too.
Sweet.
For
Cool.
Xbox,
It says
which is
right here.
I am happy because that was a Game of the
Official
Year candidate.
Yeah.
That was some places Game of the Year, which is
Mhm.
great.
I didn't get to play it,
Xbox
but, yeah.
console day one, so it's releasing on Xbox and Game Pass at the same time. It's
That'd be
coming
cool.
to PC Game Pass, XCloud, and console Game Pass.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cool.
Freaking sick.
Yeah, and then they did Somerville. What was that one?
Oh, that was the
that
cool
one
one.
looked cool. I remember.
It was. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, that was like the creepy horror-ish looking one with the little kid on the couch that kept like being weird.
Oh, the one probably
Like-
looked like Limbo and stuff.
It looked like
Yeah.
Little Nightmares or
Uh-huh.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks cool. We'll see.
After that was Halo Infinite.
Halo.
They showed all the Halo
big-
Infinite stuff, which was
A
probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
And
a shock that they did it in the center.
In
of
the
the
center of the show, yeah, that was the biggest shock for me. But multiplayer looks fantastic. I don't know about you guys. I thought it looked so cool.
I thought it
Multiplayer
looks
is
like
super cool.
yeah,
Back to its
same.
roots. I mean, the truth is like ever since Halo Reach, Halo's been off the deep end. Halo Reach was the last one that was big. Halo 4 did mediocre. Halo 5, yeah, where did it go? Halo Infinite's finally going back to like Halo 3, Halo Infinite, or Halo Reach kind of vibes, you know, which is super cool. And I mean, the little cutscene we got of Master Chief was awesome.
That was
The
cool
new
with the
Cortana.
piano. Yeah, I think having the grappling hook too is going to reinvigorate like the
Movement.
multiplayer and the movement for.
Reminded me while I was watching
multiplayer.
it was like watching Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Like he just like swinging
Everyone's
around,
Pathfinder.
grabbing and he like grabs stuff out of the air with the grappling hook, which looks
Cool
really
idea,
cool.
because like multiple times he grabbed like I think a gun, which is sick.
Or like a grenade.
Or a grenade, and then he even grabbed like an explosive and was able to grab it and throw it.
He grabbed a plane, one of the planes, and jumped into the plane with the grappling hook.
See, that's gonna be
Like
so
he grappled
nice.
to a plane,
So
and
that
like
the
took
guy-
it over.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was really cool.
And that's desperately needed because, like, let's be honest, the Halo games are older at this point. They were great at their time, but now the movement's outdated. Like,
It's
they
slower.
needed something to speed it up, you know, for sure. In order to be at the
To
same
modernize
speed
it, yeah.
as Call of Duty and all the rest of the shooters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Halo looked great, I think. Weird that we didn't get a release date still. Like,
still
crazy.
holiday.
They were
Still
willing to
holiday.
put a release date on Starfield, but not Halo. That's
Pseudo,
so strange.
somewhat worrying because you're like,
Yeah.
It does
Why
make
Could
you
it get
think.
delayed again?
It does make you think that they're not confident in that it will release this year. Which, if it doesn't, that is detrimental to Xbox, in my opinion.
I
Because
mean,
they have literally been. This has been
if
the
not for
launch-
Xbox, at least for Halo as a franchise.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Because like that's weird. Like Halo getting delayed twice over a year, and it being so long since we've had the last Halo. Like
yeah.
that would be very weird. So hopefully that comes out. We'll see. I imagine it will. I think it's gonna be like late. It'll be like November
Yeah.
or early December. But what do we get after that, Hazen?
Diablo 2 restructured.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people are
Looks
going to care
cool,
about that.
but
It looks like
not-
a gauntlet type, which is cool.
Not Game Pass.
We
though.
played Diablo 3 a little bit on the Switch. It was fun, but maybe we'll play that one day.
A Plague Tale Requiem. I don't know.
Don't you remember that
Don't
one?
remember that one.
This is where we started to get to kind of the slog, I feel
Yeah,
like.
this is where it started. But there was Far Cry 6. They kind of talked about it, which there was a ton already on that. Slime Rancher 2. Anybody? Anything care about that? Shredders, which was an unnecessarily long snowboarding segment.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Of him just doing the same trick.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you?"
It's like
Hey, we get it. You're jumping off a cliff and
like-
flipping.
It's like, we get it. It's a snowboarding game.
Yeah. Like, you can't get too crazy with snowboarding.
No.
Then there was Atomic Heart. I don't remember that really.
Nope.
Replaced. What is replaced? You're an artificial intelligence trapped in a human body. I don't remember this.
I don't remember that either.
That was the weird shooter game with the anime.
Oh,
music.
it was the 8-bit one.
Oh, that one looked awesome.
Oh.
That one looked super cool.
Atomic Heart was the one that was like the shooter game with the anime music. It was like another post-apocalyptic.
That's right. Replaced, that one looked awesome. I thought that was one of my favorite looking games of the show.
Beautiful looking too.
Mm-hmm.
Among Us, they talked about coming to Xbox. Still no date.
Can't believe-
How does Among Us not have a date?
There's two games that I can't believe still
And
on
I did
Xbox.
look it up.
Among Us-
That had been previously announced.
Was
so
it?
that wasn't.
So
there.
wasn't it? But it's insane that Among Us and Fall Guys aren't on Game or Xbox
Still.
yet. That's crazy.
They had Eiyuden Chronicles, 100 Heroes and Rising.
Was that the Battle Royale one?
Those two new titles.
That was the.
the
anime.
It was
sequel,
anime,
sequel,
sort of
yes.
anime ones.
That's right.
Then they had The Ascent, which is coming July 29th. Don't remember
Don't
what The
remember.
Ascent is.
No.
Age of Empires 4. They talked
That's
about
awesome.
coming.
They already had a
coming
whole.
October 28th.
Yeah, and they already
Yeah.
had a whole deep dive.
Nice
with
to
that
get a
couple
release
months
date.
ago.
They had a great trailer for The Outer Worlds 2, basically saying
Yeah.
it's being made. But
Being self-aware
but-
too.
And making fun of every other game company.
when you said Stanley
Yeah.
Parable, I was like, oh yeah, it probably is that.
Well, the narrator sounded just like
Well,
him.
it's hilarious because they basically were self-aware of their own conference because they were saying, "Oh, how these developers announce their games before they even know when they're going to come out."
And then
Uh-oh.
announce games with trailers that have no gameplay. And
Yeah.
we don't show what the hero looks like
I
because we
think
haven't finished them yet.
That is hilarious. Obsidian is slowly becoming a really cool, awesome company.
I love
that
Obsidian.
Really like,
It's funny because
especially if Avowed ends up being awesome.
I think, yeah, and it's so weird though because like this goes back to what I was saying, and I know we keep harping on it, but it's like, why announce Outer Worlds 2? I get that it's a cool hype thing because
But, like,
now it's Xbox exclusive, but it's like
You announced
You
two
have-
games last.
yeah, well, and you have what's it called? Where you're with the spiders. Grounded. You have Grounded right now that you're working on. Currently.
Avowed.
You have Avowed, which you're working on currently. We didn't even see Avowed at this. When you have to imagine
You
Outer
already
Worlds 2 is
showed
after
it,
Avowed,
yeah.
so it's like this game's probably 2 years away.
Yep.
This game's probably 2023, and so I'm just like, why show it now? I get it's a cool announcement, but why show it? It's funny that their trailer was so self-aware about it, but Anyway, we can move on.
It is strange. I mean, it is funny that they were self-aware of making fun of it, but they still ended up doing it.
They still did it anyway.
Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like just save it. Save that for next E3. Yeah. Instead, show us a little.
Because there's
bit
no
more
chance
about.
we're getting it next E3.
Yeah.
Or next year. It's not coming out next year because probably Avowed's gonna come out.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't even see Avowed, so it's kind of weird and mysterious about that too. It's like.
Granted, I think
Xbox
the reason
will have another thing this year though. I think.
I do think the reason we didn't
XO
see Avowed
probably.
too is because Obsidian is obviously self-aware, so they probably didn't want to show Avowed so they could show it next year because it's coming out next year.
Yeah, it's possible.
We also have Game Awards this year.
Game Awards, and they usually do
XO
21 in
21.
November. So yeah,
which that does get a fair bit of announcements.
Yeah, nothing like
that's
this,
usually
but...
more about their hardware though. But still, I'm surprised we didn't see anything about xCloud on iOS.
Yeah, no Game Pass surprise announcements about coming to Switch or anything like that. I didn't think we would, but still interesting that, yeah, I know they said they were going to focus on software, but still kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I'm used to Xbox announcing, like, here's the Xbox Elite controllers 10, you know, or something.
Right.
They
definitely focused on games.
They did announce the mini.
The past couple years, they've been kind of just like, okay, let's save our hardware for other announcements. Like, E3 needs to be about games. Ever since their debacle,
which is fair, and I understand that, but yeah, it was just kind of weird not seeing that from Xbox. And I had to eat my words that we didn't get an actual car on their stage this year.
No, you just got a lot of images of cars driving.
Yeah, we just got a lot of Forza, but no.
Hilarious.
Actual
that was probably
car.
the worst part of the whole thing.
Yeah, just dragged too long.
Insanely long of just him driving in the woods.
Right before that, they had more stuff about Xbox Flight Simulator, which I think we all want to play. So my Top Gun crossed over. Yep. Then they had Forza Horizon 5, which we talked about, that just went on too long, and I don't think any of us really care about racing games.
Pretty hilarious that they showed a guy driving, and he's like, "That's just a little taste of what you'll get." It's like, okay, we kind of get everything now.
It's like
that's not a little taste.
Like
that's everything.
We get it. Yeah.
And they also said a new Forza Motorsport is in development.
Oh, great.
And then they ended the show with something from Arcane Austin called Redfall,
which I personally thought looked awesome because I think the zombie market is so oversaturated.
Yeah.
And to have it be like a zombie shooter with vampires, sick.
Well, so this is
Magic.
Interesting because this is what they decided to end the show on, which is cool. Arcane is huge.
Definitely weird to end it though.
And like I love Arcane. I think Arcane's a great company, and obviously Xbox just bought them in the Bethesda deal.
Yep.
But it's interesting because they're currently working on Deathloop for PlayStation right now. Yeah. So you have to imagine that this game is...
This is a big middle finger. He's like, you guys got to get us a trailer for this game.
Yeah.
So that we could be like, hey
we have
PlayStation. Suck it.
Yeah. So it's funny because it's
By the way, that game that you're selling on your console, we're getting all that money.
It's just funny because it's like, yeah, we have Deathloop still coming out, which is only coming out to PlayStation to start. Yeah. And then... So you have to imagine this game is also 2023. Like,
by the way, yeah.
I don't think this will be 2022, and if it is, it's not going to be till fall or late. And cool trailer, cool premise.
Don't know
Weird
much
though
about
that once again, I harp on this stuff, but for me personally, I think that Xbox chooses to focus on first-person shooters.
We don't know if it was first-person shooter.
Well, no, they did. They said it's a confirmed multiplayer.
They just said it's
shooter.
open world.
No, they said first-person shooter.
It is.
Yeah.
It is an open world first-person shooter.
Yeah.
They did say that.
That's my
so
bread and butter. There better be loot, and then I'm...
Which was
you better believe
weird.
I'm going to sink my teeth into that.
Has there ever been an open world first-person shooter?
Destiny.
That's not open world, though.
It's open world.
Kinda.
It is.
There's like multiple interpretations of open world, but either way, it's like... I think it's cool, but...
Because like open world
I'm
is
just
basically just not linear.
Yeah, I'm just a little disappointed that so much of Xbox's portfolio is first-person shooters and RPGs. And RPGs more recently because of Bethesda. But it's like, I get that Xbox and PlayStation are playing different games and kind of stuff like that. But I was hoping for at least one, like, third-person, more linear action-adventure story-based game.
Yeah.
And so I think someone pointed out, I saw on Twitter, someone pointed out, like, out of all the games shown, there wasn't, besides, like, platformers or something like that, there wasn't, like, any third-person games. Like there was like one.
Starfield.
Classic Xbox.
Well, it'll have third-person.
Oh no, Starfield should be first.
It'll be first-person.
It'll be like Bethesda. Bethesda does
where you can
first.
go into, but everyone's gonna play it first. That's what they're gonna build it for, I'm sure.
I mean, lately they've been making it easier to play third-person because like trying to play Skyrim in third-person, yeah, forget it. But like Fallout was fine. So they've made it better.
I'm sure, they've worked on it more, but still, it's not built for that. Like, I don't know. I would just like a little bit more diversity in their genre portfolio, and that's why I'm a little disappointed that Arcane, instead of working on a single player based game,
Granted,
they're doing another multiplayer.
Arcane's
game
only made first person.
Tons. Well, first person, sure, but their other games have been single player though for the most part. Like Dishonored, I guess Deathloop technically has
but it's a single
PvP,
player.
but it's a single player.
Yeah, that's surprising. Xbox has tons of multiplayer studios that could have made this Bloodpath or whatever it's called.
What I will say is, if you are wanting a 4-player multiplayer shooter where you fight hordes of vampire zombies or some sort of creatures, you have plenty of games.
Seriously,
and there's just so many. There's like a billion of these games every year. And so that's why it was just a little disappointing. I was just like, we get so many of these already.
Yeah. I mean, I do like this take, though. Because it
Vampires is cool,
reminds me of Evolve. Because Evolve was the equivalent of a zombie horror, but with aliens. Mm-hmm. We need more of that. There's so many alien horde games. Like, I'm excited for... What's this game? Blood for Blood?
Redfall?
No,
Back for Blood.
Back for Blood. Back for Blood. Like, I'm excited for that. But
Left 4 Dead?
It's another...
I'm excited for that, too.
It's another zombie horde... shoot and survive. I feel like we get 8 of those every year.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, I still love these games. Like in Back for Blood, I'm excited for. Redfall, I'm excited to play.
I'm excited to see Redfall because right now this was just a procedure. This has no implication of what the game
for sure.
Actually
The
is.
premise, though, the idea of 4-player co-op hunting vampires, I think that sounds awesome.
I do hope that it's cool.
I just, for me, it's a little disappointing that it's it would be like if Rocksteady announced, hey, we're working on a 4-player co-op shooter where you're shooting zombies. I'd be like, oh, that's not what I want you to work on, though. Like, I like those games, but I want you to be working on a single-player, story-driven game, you know?
And I admit, I think, kind of weird to end it on. I think they should have flipped it and Halo Infinite. Redfall in the middle, Halo Infinite.
Or even, literally flip Starfield and put it at the beginning, and put Halo at the beginning.
Yeah. Because it was weird to end on that new IP where it's... Because, new IPs are hard for people to get excited for.
Yeah.
You kind of look at it and be like... Okay, that's cool to end on, but it's a CGI trailer.
To be fair, Starfield is also a new IP, but it's coming from Bethesda Studios.
It's like if Nintendo's brand new IP,
built into Breath of the Wild engine.
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
it's
I think it would have made more sense to switch Starfield and Redfall, but part of me almost wonders if they flipped them last minute. Because
they wanted people to get hyped and see Starfield and then start watching.
Well, think about this, because the Starfield release date leaked right before the show. This morning it leaked.
So maybe they were
alongside images of the game. Things were getting leaked. And so maybe they were last minute call, hey, because if you think about it, it would have made more sense. We were all surprised to see Todd Howard very first thing. Phil Spencer was the one who ended the show. Maybe originally it was supposed to be the other way around. Where
Phil Spencer did say, to end our show, we have a game.
True.
Arcane.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably planned that way. It just seemed a little odd.
It was weird.
Live. I think they were recording that live.
It could have been live.
Yeah, it could have been live. I honestly
there was a couple of the people talking that it seemed to be live.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to tell because they had music in the background too. It felt like a Nintendo Direct, but with a little bit more liveness to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just overall, I think it was a solid show. I enjoyed it. I think Game Pass is
after Redfall. They had one more thing.
Oh, the biggest announcement, the mini fridge.
Xbox Series X mini fridge.
Yay!
Which 100% I'm going to try and get. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but...
And what would be your cutoff point for that? Money-wise?
If it's this tiny little one, 170.
170.
Probably.
If it was the size of the actual Series X.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. If it's a big one, and I could replace my fridge in my basement with it, not big, but the mini, a normal size mini fridge, I would pay $300 or $400 for it. So we'll see how much it comes out to be, but
it seems to be about the size of the Juggernaut fridge.
Yeah, it doesn't seem huge, so I don't think it should cost very much.
It seems like a shelf fridge, one that you put on a shelf.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want, we can transition right into Square Enix. Might as well.
I mean,
it's basically what they did.
Not too much.
There's not crazy.
There's literally one thing.
There's no point in doing an entire podcast. to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Definitely not. No. Yeah. So Square Enix went almost directly after Xbox, like 30 minutes after, and their biggest surprise announcement, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm surprised they didn't end their show with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird one to start with.
Especially
but I guess starting it off with a bang, get your audience attached, and then you watch all these other anime.
What did they even end with? I don't even remember what they ended with.
It was another anime game or something. But I'm excited for this. It looks cool. It kind of looks like Avengers, but different.
Gameplay is pretty different. I mean, as far as like the team calling.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not multiplayer.
Yeah, I like it. It's gonna be cool. I know you guys had some issues with the characters.
I think graphically and art style it looks just like Avengers.
My only issue was Starfield's or Star-Lord's face.
Starfield's face.
Star-Lord's face.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't like the animation. I had the same problem with Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
The Avengers characters all looked the exact same.
Yeah.
Like their base model face. Just like Thor had a beard and Captain America.
Yeah, it's like I totally agree with you. I see what you mean. Just like their face structure, if they had no hair on their face or anything.
It's like they
literally the same one, and then they just threw different assets.
Yeah, it's like they grabbed the Unreal Engine for male face, and then they're like, and then they put a haircut and
let's do blonde hair
Starfield,
on him, blonde facial hair, and then now for Iron Man we do black hair, black facial hair.
Exactly, and that's my only issue. Otherwise, all the rest of the characters looked awesome. Voice acting was great. Story looked cool. I'm excited for it. I mean, I want to play it.
Yeah,
it does seem like it might not be ready yet. Like, cause even during the demo, it had some frame rate issues. Some of the movement seemed kind of weird,
clunky,
janky, and even the combat.
So hopefully they have like a plan to maybe patch that stuff out, or because like I feel like if like maybe they should have just said, "Hey, this is coming spring next year."
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Because I don't like maybe they're pushing this one so hard because there's no games this fall.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So any game that comes out this fall is going to do well. No matter what it is, you know what I mean. So
yeah, I'm not sold on that October release date. I think that would be cool. It'd be cool to actually get a game that's announced in the summer and then coming out in the fall. That would be awesome. But I'm not sold on it. It reminds me similar Avengers. Last year or 2 years ago when that came out, same thing kind of happened. If you remember, it was like they announced it for the fall and then it ended up getting delayed all the way till May the next year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something similar with this and get it pushed to spring. But I will say this was a warm welcome surprise of a surprise announcement. I mean, there had been rumors of Guardians of the Galaxy for years now from Square Enix, but it was nice to get it confirmed. See the gameplay, like an extended amount of gameplay. Holy crap, we saw a freaking like a whole mission. Looked good from what I could tell. Interesting choice. You only play as Star-Lord.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about that?
A little weird, kind of disappointing in my opinion.
I think so too.
The truth is though, is like I feel like that's something they would add later on. I seriously doubt they're gonna literally just have Star-Lord be the only one, and then after 6 months of the game, I feel like down the line they'll just let you play as anybody.
Or maybe it's similar to like
because I think about like Batman. Like Batman, yeah, you only play as Batman, but you really play as Nightwing and everybody else eventually.
Yeah, and you can, and that's the thing.
And then
maybe
there's like
certain
storylines
missions
and
where
then
it's
DLCs.
Like, yeah, there might be like certain missions where it's like, oh, this is Drax's mission.
I just think there's no chance they're not gonna like take that opportunity to let you have like a whole mission as Gamora.
Well, especially when they animate all these movesets and fighting attacks they do, because you can control them essentially by pressing buttons. It's like, why not just go the extra mile and make them playable?
What I think they're doing though is because that's kind of a gameplay element of like the JRPGs and that kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So like, and maybe they're trying to make Marvel like bigger in Japan and stuff.
That would be cool.
That's a good point. I didn't even make that connection, but you're totally right.
Like
it's
a
just
partner system where you level them up and not yourself.
Yeah, and it's like Final Fantasy VII and stuff like that. How you
Mario,
have them with
Paper
you.
Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I could totally see that. But yeah, I mean, I thought it looked good. We'll see if it hits this year. Good surprise announcement. And then it was basically just a ton of JRPG.
We got Marvel
Final
Avengers
Fantasy
stuff, and I'm a little disappointed that there was no crossplay announcement because I really want to play Marvel's Avengers on PC, but I really want to be able to play with other people.
I'll be honest. I was really hoping that the Avengers showcase stuff they were doing was going to like make me want to go back and maybe play more. And it honestly did nothing for me. I think Black Panther looks cool. I think Wakanda looks awesome. but
looks very similar. Robots again.
Yeah, but it's just that
they even made Wakanda look kind of bland in some of the stuff.
Yeah, like, well, no, it's robots again, and then like I was hoping there would be more villains, but it's like it's just Claw.
And Claw looks very generic.
Yeah, he looks just like
he looks like Star-Lord with brown hair.
Instead of doing a freaking robot spider.
Do a spider.
Do a real spider.
Why not do a real spider? It's fine if you kill a spider.
Yeah, you can kill spiders. Goodness, why freaking robots? Everything is robots.
I don't get it. Like, I wonder if it's because they don't want to perceive the Marvel characters killing people. Yeah, but in the Marvel movies, they murder tons of aliens. Yeah.
Like because every day. AIM is the main person in that game, and it's just that's all robots.
Technology, right?
So which freaking sucks.
I just don't get for why the DLC they have to do the same thing. I don't know why I said for the why, but.
I agree.
Yeah, just like mix it up. Let's do humans. It doesn't matter. Like you can do the Arkham thing where it's like Batman's literally driving around in a freaking tank in Arkham Knight
and killing people.
Instead, it's like he's not shooting them with a gun. He's shooting them with taser bullets or darts.
He's tasing them and then launching them.
And then they
50
launch
feet off
10
of the
miles
building.
into a brick wall at 50 miles per hour.
But they're alive.
But they're not dead. It's just like in Spider-Man 2 when you knock people off the building, it shows them like whoosh, just go attach to the building.
I don't know. I think it'd be a dumb excuse to be like, oh, that's the reason they're robots. It's like that's so lame.
Yeah,
it's so lame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope the best for Avengers. I'm not sold though that it's gonna make the comeback that I think it could if they really wanted it to.
I remember I saw a video. I can't credit to who it was. I don't remember, but like they need to add actual in-game gear that you can see because that is something that hurt it so much too. Like you get this awesome legendary gear and it's like a cool arm guard and you put it on and it doesn't even appear on Hulk. You're like the fuck. I just spent all this time getting this dope arm guard and I can't even see it. Mm-hmm. They need to add that and change up the enemies and it could be a great game.
I think I mean this goes into a whole nother conversation, but I think the combination of the types of gameplay they wanted to do for Avengers just didn't mesh. Yeah. It's like Destiny, great game, but you can't just put that style into any game. You can't do it in an Avengers game where, like you said, the whole thing is getting loot and armor, and then you put it on Hulk, and it's like it's not even there. It's like people want. To see
let's be honest. Borderlands, Destiny, these looter shooter games, they're great, but people love the loot. When new expansions comes out, people are excited for the story. People are excited but they want the loot. It's about the loot. And when you have a game that loot is pointless, people are not going to get attached. People aren't going to grind and try to play the end game and do all this cool stuff, you know? There's no point.
Yeah, and
Same problem with even like, I don't know, games like Anthem and even like Outriders to an extent. They need end game and loot and stuff like that. I don't know. It's too deep into it.
No, yeah, I agree.
Games trying to be Destiny that can't be Destiny.
Yeah. And then we ended with a Team Ninja Final Fantasy like Origins game, which is kind of cool. Team Ninja, known for Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that.
Many Final Fantasy
Metroid
games.
Other M.
Literally, they announced like 8 Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, it was so many.
And there's like 4 mobile Final Fantasy games.
That's the thing. A lot of people were disappointed by that. I didn't even make the connection because I'm just not a Final Fantasy person. But apparently, they announced like 2, 3, and 4 remasters or something, and then the trailer ended with coming to mobile, and everyone was like pissed.
I think it's insane because like imagine being a fan. I feel like you can totally oversaturate a game because like I love being a Destiny fan. It'd be great if there was like a mobile Destiny game, but if there was 8 mobile Destiny games, remasters of every single thing, I'd be like, dude, I can't do all this.
Yeah, it's funny because like Final Fantasy fans, I think you kind of had to like pick and choose. Like I don't think you could be fans of every single one or play every single one. There's so many.
Well, like what is Final Fantasy? Is it anime or is it gritty like Cloud?
It's both. That's the thing. It's like Final Fantasy VII. I want to play.
They choose to be.
It's like so weird because like I watch a trailer for like the new remastered. It's got Cloud. It looks like steampunk. Mm-hmm. And then there's another trailer where it's like the biggest anime guy with the giant golden suit and he's like flying in the air.
Well, then you got the 15 where it's like punk rock boy band guys in a car driving down the road. And it's like what the it's all over the place. It's whatever they want it to be. But like Final Fantasy VII, that's the thing is like I want to beat Final Fantasy VII. I think it looks dope, and that one would be the one I'd want to play the most. But there's no way I'd go and play the other ones. I don't think. And so I think it's one of those things where you kind of have to pick and choose. I honestly don't know if there's someone that's like I've played every single Final Fantasy game and I love all of them equally. It's like that's a lot of games. Like because there's 16 mainline games, but then there's like a crap ton of spin-offs and stuff
16 games? That's insane. Not even Call of Duty has 16 games.
Yeah. Oh, there's 15 technically. 16's coming out.
That's insane. Jeez. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's just a bunch of other
stuff we don't.
Is there Dragon Quest at all?
Who makes Dying Light?
Oh man,
it's Dying Light 2.
Yeah, Dying Light 2 was announced forever ago. I don't know when that's.
Well, they've mentioned it. They mentioned it this year, a couple months ago.
Yeah, that should.
I don't know who.
I don't remember who makes it.
We haven't seen release dates or anything for that.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, I think that was it.
Yep.
Is there anything you guys want to say about Xbox or Square Enix?
Nope. I mean, that's basically E3.
Yep.
Besides Nintendo,
we have Nintendo, which is exciting. Yeah, and then tomorrow there's a couple small ones, nothing too exciting. Capcom.
Capcom's tomorrow.
We got a bunch of Gearbox stuff yesterday.
I think they'll have. I don't know what Take-Two will have. I don't know why they're having a conference.
They are?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's similar to like how Gearbox had a conference yesterday.
I mean, I will say that's something we didn't talk about. Is Gearbox. I mean, they mentioned a new Borderlands game.
Isn't Take-Two making Mass Effect or something?
No, that's EA.
What does Take-Two make?
I don't know. I'm 90% sure they help publish Grand Theft Auto, but they're not gonna fulfill Grand Theft Auto. I think Rockstar does like their own separate thing.
But then we might as well mention it because it was quick. But Gearbox had theirs yesterday, and they announced a new Borderlands game spinoff.
Yeah.
And then they also talked about the Borderlands movie.
I guess that's true. We could talk a little bit about
Take-Two makes Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
They're gonna make it?
Take-Two owns Gearbox.
Oh, they publish it. Yeah, they publish Gearbox, yeah.
I thought 2K owns Gearbox.
2K is Take-Two.
Oh.
Same thing.
Oh.
2K.
Really?
Well, I think it's like Take-Two owns
super
2K. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Somebody owns somebody, but yeah, Gearbox is making a new game, Borderlands spinoff.
Real fast, we can actually talk about the Summer Game Fest stuff because there was some good announcements. We finally got Elden Ring. Trailer.
Which, I don't know about you guys, looks freaking sick.
Looks dope.
Looks like an open world Dark Souls.
Looks so cool, yeah.
I'm actually super hyped for it. Like, it's something that I think I'd like.
I would be if it wasn't from Software. So,
yeah.
Who makes great games, but it's just not my style.
I think From Software's games look amazing, incredible. I've only ever played Bloodborne a little bit. I want to go back to it, but it was so hard. It was so difficult. And
I think I need to face that fear and do it, though. Because I remember I did play Dark Souls for a little bit, and I liked it.
Oh, and I'm sure the thing is like, if I gave Bloodborne more time, I'm sure I could beat it. Like,
but I have to... Because I get afraid.
Patient.
Yeah, I do end up playing it, and I get afraid and impatient. I feel like I just got to
It's similar to Cuphead. It's similar to where it's that
very
idea of you're doing it over and over and over again and learning the pattern of the boss, and then eventually when you beat it, it's super satisfying. But if we loved Cuphead, so I'm sure we'd love a lot of From Software games.
The theming of Elden Ring looks awesome too. I love the world and the enemies, and super cool. Literally, I'm no joke. The main character looks like the Dark Souls guy. Same look and everything. It's crazy.
So, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Elden Ring looks dope. We also got Tina's Wonderland.
Didn't get much. I mean, we got a trailer, but it sounds like it's going to be a spin-off. Mm-hmm. I imagine it's going to be in the Borderlands 3 engine. There's no way they made a whole new engine for this game.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's probably going to be pretty similar. Like, it's going to be like a pre-sequel kind of...
That's what I'm kind of thinking, too. And then we got Hideo Kojima revealing Death Stranding Director's Cut, which is, who knows what that's going to be for PS5. I don't remember if there was anything else from Summer Game Fest that was like
nothing major, really.
Yeah.
Cold War.
Actually, a lot of the games were okay.
Yeah, they were.
Activision announced Cold War Season 4.
Oh, that's right. Hijacked coming back. Heck yeah.
Yep. Bunch of Warzone stuff.
So was it just me? The zombies. It looked like there was a train.
So there's the News Outbreak map, which is a zoo, and then there's Berlin, which it's a subway.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, is that like transit or something?
They probably are gonna eventually add some sort of transit stuff to Outbreak, but. I mean, we got Season 4 announcement, which is cool.
That's cool, yep.
And then Jeff Goldblum was there, revealing Jurassic World Evolution.
Oh, yeah. 2, yeah. I didn't never play the first one.
That's about it. It looks like really.
Well, we had Ubisoft as well yesterday, and Ubisoft had one major announcement that I really care about.
Mario
plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Which
they said it's their Mario Galaxy of Mario.
Yeah, which is really cool. And if you haven't played Mario plus Rabbids 1, it's surprisingly really good. Like
it's a Mario game. Nintendo would not allow it to not be good.
Exactly, yeah. and it's legitimately good. I remember when that game was first announced, I was like, oh, the Rabbids? Really? Like, that's a weird crossover. But I actually love that game. In fact, like, it always surprises me because I have my games ordered in terms of playtime on my Switch, like when you go over to your games. And Mario plus Rabbids 1 is like my 5th most played game on Switch, which I'm like, what the heck?
Just saying, prepare yourself because Nintendo, they're going to have the trailer for it as well, and right after they're going to announce the Rabbids for Smash Bros. I guarantee you.
Only reason why I don't think that'll happen is because the Rabbids already have Mii costumes in Smash, yeah. And those only got announced like a year ago.
It's going to be Master Chief.
I doubt it.
It is. And it's going to come out with Halo Infinite. Master Chief, Halo Infinite, same thing.
I hope so.
Here's hoping, man.
There's going to be one that releases like
you know who it's going to be? It's that stupid game that Xbox announced, that anime game. It's going to be that main character.
It's going to be
with the sword. Yeah.
It's going to be
Martha.
Hayabusa.
It's going to be who?
Ryu Hayabusa, like Ninja Guy.
Oh, Ninja Guy. I'd be fine with him.
Yeah, he'd be cool, but I don't know.
Is that like a leak or something?
No, he's been wanted for a long time, and he seems like the type that Sakurai would add. He seems like, because he's technically like Japanese, like a Japanese character, and so I could see him being added. But I don't know, like I gotta lower my expectations for Nintendo because I have high hopes. I have a lot of high hopes. I hope we get Breath of the Wild 2. I want to see 2 Smash characters. I want to see a bunch of surprises. I don't know if you guys have been hearing like a ton of rumors, and of course they're just rumors, but like there's rumors of like a new Mario Kart actually happening.
I hope so.
Which would be crazy.
I tell you what, something about Nintendo, they are usually trash. But every once in a while, they have the bombest freaking reveal.
Their last E3 conference was one of my favorite conferences ever of all time. If you remember, we got Banjo-Kazooie and then Breath of the Wild back to back.
Yep.
Breath of the Wild 2. Like, those 2 reveals were 2 of my favorite reveals ever of any conference of all time. And so there's a chance that this conference could be amazing. Like you said it perfectly, Terry. Like there's just some of their conferences are the best conferences you'll ever watch.
It's like I said, it's like 90% of their conferences are awful. Like literally straight up nothing in them. Yeah. Like the most you get is like DLC for Animal Crossing. And then like every once in a while, like there's rarity. They are the best thing you'll get the rest of the year.
No conference. They have one a year that they announce something big.
It's usually E3 too. Yeah, so that's why I'm excited that for this one specifically.
E3 is usually never disappointing. So
yeah, honestly, I don't remember the last disappointing E3 Direct they had because 2 years ago was the Banjo one and Breath of the Wild 2. 3 years ago was the Smash one where they revealed everyone was here and stuff. Like they've been really good the last few years. So here's the hoping that continues on Tuesday.
And then that's E3.
And then that'll be E3.
Because like EA, PlayStation, none of them are doing anything.
Friggin' lame. Do you guys think...
I think they're doing something in July. EA has something in July.
EA, yeah.
Early July.
Confirmed to July.
And I'm sure PlayStation will have something this summer.
I sure hope so.
Truth is, the reason why PlayStation didn't do anything is because Last of Us 2 just came out, so they're not going to have anything Last of Us. God of War just got delayed.
I think they do, yeah.
Multiplayer. They have multiplayer and a possible DLC.
Yeah.
Still, I don't know if that's like...
Honestly, the thing is
a big thing for them.
PlayStation hasn't been at E3 for 2 years now. They weren't there 2 years ago either. So I think PlayStation's just done with E3.
Lame.
Which is lame. But I think if we do get something from them, it'll probably be July or August. But honestly, with God of War getting delayed...
Well, think about it.
I don't know what they have to show.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Last of Us 2 just came out. Spider-Man Miles Morales just came out. God of War just got delayed. They literally have nothing else to show.
Horizon Forbidden West, which they just showed gameplay for.
They had a whole thing for it. So
yeah, and who knows? They could surprise us. They could be like, "Here's this announcement. Here's this announcement," and they come out in 5 years. But like, yeah, honestly,
they're like God of War 3. We want to have announcements so we're cooler than Xbox.
Yeah, for real.
Also, Last of Us 3 comes out in 2030.
Yeah, I hope we get a PlayStation conference because they had my favorite conference last year by far.
Oh yeah, it was dominant.
The PS5 conference was amazing.
It was insane.
So I really hope we get one, but I honestly just don't know what they'd announce right now. I think they're holding their cards close to their chest. But
what did they announce last year?
God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, the PS5 whole reveal, Ratchet and Clank.
It was a big conference.
Returnal, like it was huge.
It's true.
Yeah, but I think that's about it. I think that's it for E3.
I knew E3 would eventually die, and it's already dying. I knew once it lost that last year.
We need a year. One more year before it go live in person.
And the thing is, though, is I don't know.
Every company does their own things now.
This year has actually reinvigorated it, though, I think. And for me, even. Like, I think with all these companies coming back and participating, and Xbox and like Nintendo seem to be really big supporters of E3. The fact that Nintendo is doing an E3 Direct,
but they've always been
like,
big supporters.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like
Nintendo if and Xbox have both supported.
But that's all they need, honestly. Like that's the thing is these other
they even do it at the Microsoft Theater, which is funny.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. Is like even with these other companies, they're all great and whatever. But if Nintendo and Xbox are the two biggest ones, obviously, and so if they are there. That's all E3 really needs.
E3 will eventually be dissolved, and Jeff Keighley will take over the whole E3 section. It'll be Summer Game Fest E3.
The thing is, Summer Game Fest is cool. It was a cool idea for Jeff Keighley to do, but
now it's just taking stuff away from it.
Well, I'm telling you, it will be absorbed. Like Jeff Keighley is so adamant about like being, like he respects E3, right?
Not really.
The thing is like anymore. E3, like it slowly is losing. Because like think about it. 10 years ago, people only announced games at E3. You did not announce games the rest of the year.
No.
And now it's like, throughout the year, there's always announcements.
Sure.
There's random direct, there's random announcements.
The thing is, though, is I think we saw some pushback last year because last year people realized... So I agree with you, Taryn. I think everyone's had that mindset for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But the difference is I think last year proved otherwise. Because during COVID, Summer Game Fest happened and there was no E3... And we had those announcements throughout the year. And people hated it for the most part. And I'm not speaking for everyone, obviously. Like, that's just the general consensus I heard overall. Is that it was like everything felt so spread out. Everything was just like, hey, all right, tune into this conference or this announcement on Tuesday morning for a big surprise. And it's like, cool, I can't wait to see. And there's like nothing there. Or it was like, here's this one thing. And now tune in again next week for another thing. It's like, we don't have time... Like, people are busy. People work. People have... Like, we don't have time to every other week be tuning into another conference.
I can take a couple days off, and you do all of it in 4 days.
Yeah.
That's how you need to do it.
And I get that that's unrealistic in some ways, and that's why I understand that there can be other conferences throughout the year. But there just can't be this thing... Like, Summer Game Fest as an idea is cool on paper, but the idea of announcing things throughout the summer, every week, every couple weeks throughout the summer, is like... It's a trickle effect that... It doesn't work. You can't hold people's excitement.
I mean, I love E3. Don't get me wrong. Like, I want E3 to stick around. I just don't think it can. I literally don't think it can. It doesn't have enough support in it. Without the in-person event, charging people money for tickets, they're literally going to just slowly dissolve.
Well, but that's the thing is next year we'll be back in person from what they said. So if that happens, then I think they'll be fine for at least a few more years. I agree with what you're saying.
I just feel bad because like I don't think E3 is as stable as I used to think. Oh, E3 can never go away because like E3 is where you announce games. But now I'm thinking every game company just does their own thing now, which annoys me.
And that's the thing that kind of sucks though is it's like then we get these conferences by like Gearbox yesterday, which. Let's be honest, that conference had nothing. Like, nothing that we didn't already see. Like, we knew Tina's Wonderland was going. Like, they just had announced it the night before, or the day before. It was like, we didn't need a conference for Gearbox at that point. It's so, I just don't like the idea of, like, having to tune into all these different conferences throughout an entire year, or throughout the entire summer, whatever it is. Like Hasten was saying, I prefer hey, here's 4 or 5 days, make your biggest announcements here. You can announce stuff and reveal stuff later throughout the year too and do like your own personal events. But make like the main stuff here. So then people can know ahead of time like, hey, this is when this is E3 Christmas. This is video game Christmas. You know what I mean?
I wish, dude.
And that's how it's been, and that's what I like about it is it's
when you look at like now
summertime Christmas.
Now I feel like it's not though. Like you get E3, but then you also have Game Awards. You always
I don't know, like I feel it right now. Like some of the reveals we got today was like was video game Christmas, and then Nintendo. I'm pumped for Nintendo on Tuesday. Like especially nothing beats those feelings of like when we got Banjo revealed or Breath of the Wild 2. Like those were the hypest ones, and even like seeing Jack Sparrow and Sea of Thieves today was like. I loved that. That was so fun.
We just need more of it. I want the days back where I wish tomorrow we had PlayStation.
Yeah.
It'd be so sick. And then the next day we had EA. And then the next day we had Nintendo.
I loved the original setup. I loved the original setup because it used to be, we had Xbox this morning. Then we had Bethesda tonight. Mm-hmm. Bethesda was at night on Sunday. And then if you remember on Mondays, we had PlayStation at night, Square Enix during the morning. But we used to go to Cowabunga Bay always on Sunday night, right when PlayStation was doing their conference. And so we'd go to Cowabunga Bay and then come back and like watch PlayStation. And then the next morning was Nintendo. So it was just like,
that's
boom,
right.
boom, boom. It was 3 days in a row.
Because now it's like we're literally waiting until Tuesday.
Yeah. Now it's like
there's nothing tomorrow.
Yeah, we have a couple small ones. But once again, it's the trickle effect where it's like nobody cares
like
about
what's
the little updates.
Actually going to...
Well, because it's like, here's the thing. I love Capcom. I love Resident Evil. They have some of my favorite franchises, but it's like, put your stuff in the Xbox conference. Put your stuff in the Sony conference. Or at least
do it the same day.
Don't do your own conference. Not everyone needs their own conference. It's reminding me of streaming services. It's just like streaming services.
Well, that's why I feel
let's make another one.
Well, and that's why I do think that, sadly enough, E3 will eventually die. Because, like, everybody does a direct now. Like, literally, PlayStation
everyone
has
copied
a
Nintendo.
direct.
Literally, everyone copied Nintendo.
Like, even Bungie does it. Like, even the tiniest company like Bungie, just for Destiny, does, like, a Bungie Direct. They have, like, Bungie Con or Guardian Con or whatever. Like, I don't like it either. Because I want it to just be one big E3, everyone in E3. And we get all the announcements, and we're good. We know what's coming out for the year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't know what's coming out for, like, the rest of the year.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, we don't even necessarily need, like, hard dates and everything like that. It's just
announcements.
It's a celebration. I liked what Phil Spencer said the other day. He said on Twitter, he's like, E3 is a celebration of video games and gamers. It's a way for us to all come together and get excited together. There's only one other time during the year that we get that, really, and it's the Game Awards.
Yeah.
That Jeff Keighley started only recently. I mean, we had the VGAs and stuff, but, like, there's really only 1 or 2 times a year where we all come together as an industry. Think about it if E3 didn't exist. Let's pretend E3 didn't exist for a second. Honestly, I feel like it would be really depressing to know, like...
It did last year.
Yeah.
It sucked.
It's depressing because it's like, man, when do we look forward to coming together as a...
Because it's so fun to sit down
culture.
and, like, expect all these announcements.
And get pumped. It's... Honestly, the anticipation is the best feeling sometimes. And then, man, it is the most excruciating blow of disappointment when there's nothing. Like, you feel it.
But it's still fun.
Then it's also... the highest of highs you will feel when there's that exciting announcement.
Like, even when I'm disappointed, I'm still excited. Because I'm still like, at least we still got a conference.
Yeah, there could have been nothing.
It's still cool to see game stuff.
Because that's the thing, is like, this to me is better. There's so many games in this that I would have never paid attention to or ever even seen if it wasn't for this conference. And I think about it and I'm like, I would much rather have these announcements than have a... I wake up, look at Twitter.
Suicide Squad's announced.
Paper Mario Origami King just got announced on Twitter by Nintendo.
It's like, why?
What the frick?
Yeah, I don't want that.
I hate when they do that.
I want it to be hype.
Like,
I want to be excited.
In a direct. Yeah. Put it in a thing. Or at least let me know. At least be like, hey, tune into this thing for a special announcement. You know, or like, watch this Nintendo Direct for information on this.
Seriously.
I don't want to just wake up to, oh yeah, this was just announced on Twitter. Or, they just dropped this trailer randomly.
Because that's not hype. That's not exciting.
It was like, because yesterday even that happened with Mario plus Rabbids too, where... Like, not that one I cared about a ton, like, having a hype announcement, but it was like, it leaked before the show, and I literally just woke up, looked at Twitter, and it's like, Mario plus Rabbids 2 confirmed, and I'm like, oh. That would have been a cool trailer.
Even like Tiny
the trailer, did you guys watch the trailer for it?
Yeah, it's cool.
It was really cool. Like, it started at the Ubisoft thing, and I was like, oh, this is... Like, Mario shows up, and you're like, oh my gosh, could you imagine watching that live and be like, Mario's at a Ubisoft conference?
Right.
What the frick? And then getting that excitement feeling, instead it was just like, oh... It just got confirmed. I just know.
Well, it's like the same with the Tiny Tina's thing. Because I remember I saw it and I was like, oh, dang. Like, that would have been so cool to see it like Xbox.
Yeah.
Conference. Because the fact that it's a whole new game, too. Because at first I thought it was DLC. So I thought, oh, okay. These
kind
guys
of
on
what I was thinking,
Twitter.
too, because the art style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like a whole new game. It's like, why wasn't that a bigger announcement? It's a whole new game.
It's a great reveal, too, because, like, you wouldn't have known it was... I mean, you knew it was Gearbox, but you didn't know it was Tiny Tina until the end when she comes in.
You honestly didn't even know it was Borderlands at first.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with the guy shooting at it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like E3. I think there's a place for E3 still. I agree with you that nowadays it's not as necessary with companies doing their own thing, of course. But I think there's something about E3 that shouldn't ever go away. And for me, it's the excitement of everyone coming together and showing off what they have. And everyone getting excited about games. Because it's the only time of the year you can do it besides
it's
the Game
equivalent
Awards.
to like the Disney Expo and where they announce all the new Marvel shows and Star Wars shows, and like we need that for gaming.
And it's like, I get that people are openly critical of the ESA, which is the company that owns E3, but I feel like too many people conflate the ESA and E3 as one, where it's like, the ESA runs E3, but E3 as an idea and as
separate
an event,
the artist from the art.
Exactly. It's like E3 as an idea and as an event is amazing. It's a place for people to come together and showcase their work and their games, and we can all come together. Yep. I get that the ESA is a little shady and they have some bad practices, but it's like, don't conflate them with giving E3 a bad name, if that makes sense. I agree. don't know. That's just my personal opinion on it, but
it's kind of like the way I look at PlayStation. Like, I think Sony as a company are scumbags. Like, in my opinion, they do stupid practices and they're super greedy, but they make great games. And you can't deny it. Like, you can't be like, well, I hate Sony, so their stuff sucks.
Yeah, you can't.
Well, their
exactly.
stuff is
like
good.
And it's like, you can't hate Naughty Dog because they're owned by Sony. It's like,
right. It's like they're great. Like, they're
they make
great
great
company.
games. Yeah, maybe their owner isn't that great. It's like EA. It's like the classic thing with EA. You know, it's like Respawn is owned by EA. Respawn's amazing. You know, they make some great games.
Even like Toys for Bob, great. Activision sucks.
Yeah, Activision ruined their company, put them into Call of Duty.
But it's like, yeah, they're still a great company. Yeah, I agree.
Toys for Bob, Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. You guys made Spyro, Skylanders, and Crash Bandicoot. So what can you make next? Call of Duty.
Visceral, you guys made the Dead Space franchise, which people really love. You guys are done. We're ending your studio.
Sorry.
It's just over.
Oh my gosh. I don't get, at that point, why they don't just all, like, how could Visceral not just leave? Because Bungie left.
Because I think they were all financed and funded by...
they wouldn't be able to self-publish?
Like, they couldn't self-publish, I don't think.
That's what I'm so grateful for with Bungie, is that they had enough money to self-publish, because that would have sucked anus. Because apparently, like, Activision was disappointed with Forsaken sales, and so they were like, Bungie, we don't want you. And Bungie's like, sweet.
Yeah, and imagine if they funded, like, they fully funded Bungie, it's like Bungie would just be done. Like, that'd be crazy.
Destiny's over.
That'd be ridiculous, unless another studio came in and bought them or something.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised didn't happen with, like, Visceral, but...
Yeah.
Anyway... You guys have any other closing thoughts on E3 so far until we get to Nintendo?
Nope.
Nice.
Super excited for Nintendo.
I'm pumped for Nintendo, but I'm going to manage my expectations.
I am not. I'm going to get excited.
Well, I'm getting excited. Especially like leading up to it.
Knowing E3, Nintendo is going to do some crazy shiz.
I sure hope so, man.
We're going to see Mario Odyssey 2, Breath of the Wild 2,
Mario Kart 9, 2 Smash characters.
There's going to be a new Fighter Pass. They're going to announce all the characters that day.
That we want. Every character I've ever wanted is going to get announced.
They're going to allow mod support on Smash.
Yeah. It's all going to happen.
They're going to blow their whole load in one.
We're confirming it now, just so our audience knows. But yeah. Anyway, we thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys at Nintendo's conference.
Bye.
Bye.